Welcome to the brand new episode of Come Talk About Sports from Quinnipiac University, WQAQ 98.1. Today I'm with Richard DeVizio and I'm Keith Savage. But Ricky, I gotta ask, how's your day going?
It was pretty slow. Everyone's leaving.
Everybody's leaving. This is the last podcast at Quinnipiac University for the semester. So I will keep the podcast going at home with other friends, but this will be the last one, Ricky, for till September, basically. It's going to be a while. But we're going to go straight into it. Let's talk about the NBA. Right away, we saw LeBron James yesterday talk about how much he hates the NBA play-in tournament. NBA play-in tournament is the 7 and 8 seed will play each other once. The winner will be the 7th seed. 9 and 10 seed will play each other once. The winner will go against the loser of the 7-8 seed game, and the winner of that game will become the 8th seed. Ricky, what do you think about that?
See, at first, this was all confusing to me. I know they did it in the bubble, and it was smart for that since...
It was a little different in the bubble. It was the 8, 9, 10.
Almost the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was smart since, obviously, Corona started. A lot of the teams were rusty, but now, since it's more back to normal than it was then, I just think it's dumb. I think it should just go back to the 7th and 8th seed. If they're that, then they're that. If there's a tie, I don't know, but...
And what do they do in baseball for this tiebreaker? They just add an extra game. That's what they do. Most times the tiebreaker they already kind of have it set, but in baseball what they do is there's 162 games a year. There's a tie for a certain spot. They'll have game 163 with just those two teams.
That's smart for that.
That's what they do. But yeah, the play-in tournament, I'm not a huge fan of it at all. I just don't think it's a amazing... Oh, but a sneeze, but I don't think it's amazing thing at all.
There was no problem with it originally, going like the original, just the 7th and 8th seed.
Nothing
So
at all. I think it was good for COVID because the teams were rusty. But I just don't like this at all. Let's go the old school 8 seed. You have 1 through 8. There was no problem with that. Nobody was complaining. I don't think it should ever become just top 16 teams. I'm one of those guys who are firm. They should be East and West, travel restrictions, all this stuff. Somebody, Boston, Portland playing each other. They shouldn't travel back and forth. What do you think about having the East and West just gone? It's just the top 16.
I think that's stupid as well.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. And rivalry is a big thing in sports, and can't really do that. We have in football. You saw the NFC East. The Washington football team was below 500 and still made the playoffs. Where it happens some years. That's how it works. I just don't like how people think 16 teams, because traveling is a big part. Every other day they play in the playoffs. I just don't like how it works. Now let's move on to the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James played 2 games, lost both games, and he re-aggravated his ankle and is ruled out for today's game. Do you think this ankle is a real problem for the Los Angeles Lakers?
I think that LeBron rushed coming back. He wasn't supposed to come back until, I think, another week or so. And then all of a sudden, he said he was going to test out his ankle before the game. And he said it was fine, but clearly it wasn't if he re-aggravated it. I think without LeBron, even with AD, if they'll stay the 7th seed, I don't see them going up. I think
right now
there's more of a chance of them falling.
They're most likely they won't fall because they have like a 3.5 game lead on the 8th seed. But right now, the Mavericks, the Trailblazers, and the Lakers are tied with 5, 6, and 7. And the Lakers have the worst of the tiebreaker at 7. But the Lakers' schedule, they have about 6, 7 games left, and every team they play against is a playoff team. That's another reason why LeBron got a little rushed back. I think it's gonna end up backfiring on the Lakers.
I think it will. I think them rushing LeBron back, it'll make. I think it made LeBron's injury worse, rushing him back, and I don't think it was worth it because they'll still make the playoffs. I think they just wanted a higher seeding, but it was not the right move by them.
The news in Los Angeles today: Dennis Schroeder got in COVID protocols.
That's gonna hurt them.
Dennis Schroeder actually said him and LeBron James are the only two who have not gotten the vaccine shots yet. So nobody else can quarantine. So only people that have a chance to quarantine is LeBron James and Dennis Schroeder and the Los Angeles Lakers. But that's going to be a big loss if they just have Anthony Davis.
Schroeder stepped up when LeBron was hurt.
Yeah, definitely, and Harrell. But we're going to move on to a new 7th seed in the Boston Celtics. Is this like a concern for the Celtics with potentially Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, both of her in the same exact play. Jaylen Brown injured the ankle that was already hurt prior, which made him questionable for the game. Do you think the Celtics team is concerning?
I think their injuries are a big thing. Of course, it would be the Celtics for their own players to injure each other.
And Evan Fournier said COVID-19 really hurt him really bad. He had a good game last night, but he was talking about COVID has affected him a lot, and we already saw that with Jason Tatum. Bad luck for Boston.
I think the Celtics are having just a very bad season this year. I think next season they'll step up, but only if the injuries get better. And if they develop their players, there's a lot of like Grant Williams, Romeo. I don't see how they're better than some of the other ones on their bench.
Yeah, not at all. The team, this is not the year. I think we got this offseason be the biggest offseason for the next decade for the Celtics. They have cap, but it's definitely a huge question mark how the next few years will work out with Kemba Walker getting worse each year, but Tatum, Brown getting better. And Aaron Nesmith, the lottery pick, it's had 3 straight good games, which has been surprising. But overall, it's going to be an interesting team. But I'm going to go straight into the NBA draft. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are in a weird spot. So they traded their pick in the D'Angelo Russell trade, but it had protection. If it goes top 3, it goes to Minnesota. Outside top 3, it goes to Golden State. But ever since Karl-Anthony Towns and D-Lo has come back, this team now has the 4th worst record in the league, which they once had the very worst by far. Do you think the Timberwolves should kind of tank because they might not even get a pick this year?
I think the obvious answer is that they should. They're not good enough even if say for some reason that they do make the playoffs, which I don't think is possible.
It's all the picks because all based. Right now there was clear they were going to go top 3 most likely, but now they're gonna need some luck to get into it, going to the top 3.
I think they should tank. They should rest Cat some days, maybe rest D'Lo, just develop Anthony Edwards for next season. I think next season if they can still have Cat, if they get their pick, they draft someone else that's good, maybe do some free agency signings. I think that they could be a mid-seed playoff team.
Yeah, it seems a lot of young players, as Jimmy Butler once said. He doesn't think this team has a winning chemistry at all. He doesn't think the mindset is winning, and he went straight at Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is now in the Golden State Warriors, and he's looked pretty damn good this season. Do you think Andrew Wiggins was basically just on the wrong team? Do you think he needed the Golden State Warriors to regenerate his career?
I think he fits the play style of the Warriors. It's a lot of the players and the teams they're on. As you can see, some of them don't do good, and then they get traded, and they have a very good season, like Gordon Hayward. Celtics, he didn't do that good. While he was playing for the Hornets, he was doing really good. I think it's all about the play style. So Wiggins going to Warriors, I think that helped him a lot.
Yeah, very key. Wiggins has had a very good year. I think the Warriors is a great fit for him. But I'm going to stay with Warriors. And Kelly Oubre tore a ligament in his thumb, but they're saying he might be able to play through it. But now they're playing tournament coming soon. Do you think Kelly Oubre should play through this torn ligament in his thumb?
I think if it doesn't affect him, maybe, depending on who they play and where they are in the play-in tournament. But I think they should rest him most games more than he plays.
Have you seen the crazy story about Kelly Oubre's contract?
No.
So Kelly Oubre this year, he signed a 1 year. No, he got traded with this extra $17 million to the Warriors. But that $17 million wasn't just $17 million. Just getting Kelly Oubre was the last acquisition on that team, basically. Cost the Warriors over $70 million because they got over the luxury tax, which is just crazy at all. Just for Kelly Oubre, that's how much they went over the salary cap in.
Jeez.
Looking like it might backfire. Do you think Kelly Oubre is a guy they need to bring back next year with Klay Thompson, Draymond, who knows from Wiseman's back, and Wiggins?
I think Oubre would be a good sixth man if he didn't start.
That's true.
He scores a lot of their points. He's very athletic. He's decent defender. I think he fits that team good, though. So for them, since they don't have that much talent on that team anymore, I think Oubre will either be a solid sixth man if he doesn't start, and if he does start, he'll be a good contributor.
Yeah, definitely a key guy in this guy who knows how to score. I'm going to go straight back to scoring and go back to the Boston Celtics where Jason Tatum dropped 60 points in overtime. But he tied Larry Bird for the most points in a Celtics history game. And this game, Larry Bird, he dropped 60, and the Atlanta Hawks bench were going. They were rooting for Larry Bird. They were getting killed, but Larry Bird had the best game of his career. What's more impressive, Jason Tatum, 60 points and a 32-point comeback in overtime, or Larry Bird, 60 with the Atlanta Hawks bench? Just don't know how to guard him.
I think if we don't count the 32-point comeback, even though it was against the bench, Larry Bird 60 points because it was only in fourth quarter instead of overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But including the 32-point comeback, definitely Tatum's. He had to carry that team for that comeback.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown had a very poor performance. One thing I like about Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, about 2 weeks earlier, broke Larry Bird's previous record and had 57 points. Bird told McHale, he's like, don't be happy too long coming for that record. And 2 weeks later, he dropped 60 on the Hawks. And Larry Bird is a bad man overall. We got a whole show about Larry Bird. But he was, since the start, phenomenal. He was his rookie year. But this year, we've seen some rookie year. This rookie class got hurt by injuries a lot. I wouldn't say it's one of the best recently, but LaMelo Ball returning for the last 3 weeks. Could he still win Rookie of the Year?
I think if you take in consideration of the games he played before he was injured, he was the clear Rookie of the Year winner before any of the injuries against Anthony Edwards. But when he got injured, Edwards started stepping up. He does shoot. Edwards mainly shoots under 50% each game, but he's been helping them win, and he's been doing a good amount of scoring. But I think it all depends on if LaMelo can take the Hornets to the playoffs. The Wolves won't make the playoffs, and if LaMelo can be as productive as he was before the injuries. If he can, then I think he should win Rookie of the Year, especially coming from a broken wrist.
Yeah, LaMelo Ball, he was supposed to return, and then he somehow returned. It's extremely impressive. This team wouldn't be in the 8th seed if it wasn't for him. This team is not that talented. Gordon Hayward's the best player. He's been out. I think this return was huge. LaMelo keeps it up, stays healthy, Hornets win. I think LaMelo Ball should be the Rookie of the Year. I don't think Anthony Edwards really deserves it because that team they just don't really win. I think he can score as much as he wants, but doesn't result in wins. It's not as important at all. But LaMelo Ball's turning wins, and let's talk about Tyrese Halliburton, who got an ankle injury. Don't know fully about the information yet, but Tyrese Halliburton got down with an ankle injury. Do you think this is going to be a concern
for the future, or
for the future of Halliburton?
It depends on how bad the ankle injury is, because I know, especially because of LeBron, that ankle injury, that's one of the most common injuries. Land on it wrong, someone steps on it, you step on someone.
It's crazy. They said he would never be that good just because of his ankles are terrible.
LeBron said he might not be 100% back because of his ankle.
Ankle injuries definitely.
I think if it's just like a minor sprain, then I think he should be fine. But if it's something worse than that, it will take an effect the rest of his career.
And definitely Halliburton, one of the nice young talents in the league. It definitely hurts to see him get injured, but we'll be back very soon after this very short commercial. It'll take about 30 seconds. We're going to go straight into NBA G League or NCAA college basketball. Stay tuned.
I'll take local Hamden businesses for $200.
This local business has team trivia Monday nights and Bobcat night every Tuesday with wings and half-price beers 8 to 9:30.
What is Side Street Bar and Grill?
That's correct. Side Street Bar and Grill, open 4 to 11 all week. Patio is open. Full menu available for takeout as well as Uber Eats and DoorDash. You can give them a call at 203-407-1539.
And welcome back to the podcast. And recently we saw Emoni Bates, who's arguably the best prospect since LeBron James. Amazing player, but he's supposed to go to Michigan State. He's going to be a senior in high school next season, and he's a phenomenal player, one of the best players we've seen since LeBron. And he recently decommitted from Michigan State, and they're saying he might go to the NBA G League. If you're a young high school athlete at the top, are you going to the NBA G League, or do you want to go to college?
Okay, so I feel like going to college at his level, he will be the best one on the team, easily. He'll start, he'll get the most minutes, he'll be the main scorer on the team. that will get him more recognition, most likely more fans than going to the G League. But it's easier competition. Going to the G League, you're playing against either ex-NBA players that were on the team and then got cut, or they got put onto the G League, or Europeans who came over and are playing in the G League.
A lot of the young dudes chose to this year. We saw there's going to be multiple draft picks who was in the G League this year who started going to the G League. Jalen Green, Kai Soto.
So I think the G League, it has better competition, which could prepare the players better for the NBA competition than college ball does. But for more recognition, I feel like going to college is the better choice.
The NBA led the players go straight from high school?
Yeah. If they're good enough, yeah.
I talked to, back in November, I talked to former NBA All-Star Antonio Davis, and he said, I asked him the same question. He said, I think you should be able to go straight out of high school, but if you go to college, you have to do at least 2 years, which I thought was interesting because Antonio Davis, what happened to him, he went to college, then he said, he got drafted and said, all right, I'm going to go to Europe. He went to Europe for 4 years before he played a game in the NBA, but he was firm. He said he wanted players to be able to go straight out of high school, and big play we saw from the draft stock got hurt was like Michael Porter Jr. People said if you went straight out of high school, you would have been number one pick, no question. Then in college, he got a back injury, which he only played 2 games after and didn't look anything amazing. It fell to 14. I think you should be able to go straight out of high school. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think the current rule is G League's the best choice. I don't think college is a huge thing now. If you get paid, you go there, even though you're probably going to pay it on the table already. But I think G League is the best option to go to, and it's not even close at all. But now let's move on. Let's go to the Brooklyn Nets. We just saw KD and Kyrie return. Harden, we're still waiting for him, but the defense, once again, is not looking good at all. Do you think this defense is a huge concern?
I feel like it is. Defense is a big part of basketball and wins. If you can't stop the other team from scoring, it's going to be a high-scoring game, and if you miss and you can't stop them from scoring, they're going to win.
I saw something that was saying how there's only 6 teams that had over 55 wins who were in the bottom. Because right now, in defensive rating, the Nets at 26. Right now, the Kings and Blazers have 2 of the worst defensive seasons ever. We go talk about that another time, but there's only been 6 teams who had over 55 wins with a below-average defense. Nets would have probably had 55 wins a full season. And with those 3 teams was 88 Celtics, who these 3 teams actually made the conference final. 88 Celtics with Bird, McHale, and all of them, but they got hurt by injuries really bad. But they started heating up in the playoffs with the defense. 92 Bulls, they had a similar route where they started heating up in the playoffs. But a surprising team, 2010 Phoenix Suns, coached by Mike D'Antoni, the fast-paced offense. Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire. They had a terrible defense and never improved, but they almost made the NBA Finals simply because their offense was straight unstoppable. But they were a game short of making it because Kobe and the Lakers. You could see something like that where Nets are maybe a game or 2 short to Philadelphia or even Milwaukee.
Yeah, I can see that. If they have Harden, their offense will be, I'm sticking by what I said, their offense will be amazing once they have all 3 of them, plus Blake, plus Claxton's been doing good, DeAndre Jordan. Once they have everyone fully healthy, I'm sticking to what I said before. I think they're going to win the championship.
The whole championship.
The whole championship.
You think the Lakers have a chance of winning the championship, even as a 70, where they might have to go against Utah, Phoenix?
Without LeBron?
No, let's say that LeBron should be back by the time, but if they're a 7 seed, they're going to have to go against either Phoenix or Utah. If they go to 6,
I don't think
they have a good chance where they're going to have to go against either Utah, Phoenix, the Clippers, or the Nuggets. First round. That's like a 95% chance it's going to happen.
I feel like they won't get swept, but I definitely, at this point, I don't see the Lakers moving forward. They can't win in a 7-game series against either of those teams. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. There's only been 1 team ever below 5 seed to win the finals, and that was the Houston Rockets with Hakeem Olajuwon, the 6th seed after the year before they won the championship, like the Lakers. They went through some injuries, fell a little slow slump. They went 6th, and they ended up winning the whole championship. Could see something like that with this team. But I want to move on. And one of your favorite players is Kyrie Irving. We always love this guy, and now I've started this new thing where we do trivia at the end of each show. And this trivia right here is all going to be about Kyrie Irving's teammates. In the past, one's current teammate. But I'm going to start right away with the very first question. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, Kyrie Irving has played with one player who is currently head coach in the NBA. What head coach is that? I'll give you a hint. This is his first coach team. He was the assistant coach on one team prior, and he's been a coach of the team for more than 1 year and is brain fart. He's in the West. Just think, they had to be recently retired in the 2010s.
I'm not good with what coaches are on what teams. Like, who coaches what team?
Former player. I'll give you more of a hint. This is a huge hint. I don't know if you remember this, but his dad is an NBA Hall of Famer. He cuts it down to lob. I don't know.
I'm having a brain fart.
I'll give you one more hint. It's the last one. But he was an interim coach of one team while one of the coach went down. He famously did really good. And that's what kind of got him the job at this current team.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Luke Walton.
Yeah.
Luke Walton. Dad.
What?
Bill
Who's he the
Walton.
coach of?
Huh?
Who's he the coach of?
Sacktown. Sacramento Kings.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. When Steve Kerr got a little sick, Luke Walton took control, and the Warriors did really good with him. That's kind of let him get this job. All right, next question is he's played with an MVP's brother in Cleveland. Who is that brother?
MVP's brother?
In Cleveland. So it was not in the last 4 years.
I feel like I know this.
You definitely know it. All these questions, you're going to know the players.
Yeah, no.
Seth Curry.
Seth was in Cleveland.
Seth was in the beginning of his career. He was traveling a lot of different places. He was even on Golden State at one point.
I remember him on Golden State.
He traveled a lot, but yeah, Seth Curry is the only one he's played with. But one more. I mean, not one more. The third question is, this former teammate of his, and after leaving Cleveland, he joined the team, and he recently got kicked off the team a few years ago for eating gummies, which got him high on the plane. He never played a game again for that team. Who is that player?
Let's go with Drew Gooden.
Drew Gooden.
I don't even know.
Dion Waiters. This happened last year.
That's why he's not in the NBA. He ate gummies and he ate edibles.
8 edibles on the plane. Practically asking to get kicked off the team. And this one, the fourth question, 2 more questions. On the Celtics, he had one fellow Australian player. Who is that player? Hints. This was a kind of a previous question. And one of the last, I think it was with Marcus out of this trivia question.
It was. Oh, wait. Is it Aaron Baines?
It is Aaron
Yeah.
Baines. That's the first one correct. But Aaron Baines was the fellow Australian on this team. But the very last one, he's a current teammate on the Nets. What teammate on the Nets wanted people to invest into his contract? He wanted to make his contract super weird and wanted to let people have investments in his contract. And it was kind of big at the time. He's a current teammate.
Is it Bruce Brown?
No, it's Spencer Dinwiddie.
Oh, yeah.
Dinwiddie wanted people to invest into his contract, and they thought it would go up. But Spencer Dinwiddie's also a free agent next year, so we'll see how that contract.
And he's been
contract
injured,
situation.
too.
Yeah, towards ACL.
Yeah, my brother.
Your brother. And that's how it works for him. But that's all we're going to have for the very last episode of Come Talk About Sports. Unless, Ricky, do you want to add anything?
That's it. See you guys next semester.
Next semester, indeed. Well, from Quinnipiac University, we had me, Ricky DeVizio, Mark Spear, and Jacob Patemri, all on the podcast. And most likely we'll be returning next semester in August to return back in the podcast. But stay tuned for more. I'm Keith Savage with Richard DeVizio, and we're leaving WQAQ 98.1, Hamden, Connecticut, Quinnipiac University. Stay tuned for future podcasts.